Hi kids, so yesterday I drew my pencil drawing of my tropical leaves and flowers, and today on a second piece of paper I'm just going to do a couple more leaves towards the bottom of the page. And the reason why is because we want to do some overlapping. So towards the end of the project we're actually going to cut these two leaves out and overlap them over the black and white photograph that you chose for the person of interest. So for example, I did my children and I printed them out in black and white and glued them on top of my finished painting here. And then I cut out these two leaves and kind of overlap them to create a little bit of depth within my painting to make it a little more interesting and you know, to add that overlapping piece to my artwork. So now I have two leaves down here. I always do them towards the bottom because that's where the overlapping is going to be, kind of towards the bottom of your painting. So I always do my two leaves down there too. So now I'm going to push this aside and today I'm going to start by painting the background. So I know my leaves are going to be green and I think I'm going to do reddish orange leaves. So I want to pick I think I'm going to go, what do I want? Do I want yellow? I think I'm actually going to go for a light purple background this time. So I have my water, my paintbrush, and my watercolors here. So I'm gonna dip my brush into the water and go for my purple. Now I always like to do my background first and I let it dry. So today you'll draw those two leaves on the separate piece of paper and only focus on painting your background because we want it to set up and dry so that tomorrow when we paint our flowers and leaves, we don't have the bleeding, because watercolor is very watery and it can bleed into one another. So I always like to try to do my painting in steps and get my background done first. Now as you can see with my purple, I'm taking the dipping my brush into the water and then into the paint. I'm not saturating my brush, meaning I'm not soaking it, but I kind of want to be able to have control around the edges so that that purple doesn't go into the leaves or into the flowers, because my leaves are going to be a greenish bluish yellow and my flowers are going to be kind of an orangey yellow with some reds. Okay, so part of this project is to do some color mixing to get some more exciting colors when painting. So a good color to mix with my purple would be a little bit of blue. Red would be a good color too, but since I'm going to use red in my flowers, I'm going to kind of go with blue here. So you mix with watercolors, you're going to mix right onto the paper as you go. So I dip my brush in the water and then into the blue. And because they're next to each other on the color wheel, blue and purple, they're going to work really well together and mix nicely on the page. So I'm going to go back around this flower. And you can see I can kind of just switch between the two colors. So I want purple to really be the star of the background. So I'm just using blue kind of in those big areas in between the plant life. So I'm using purple to really outline around my plant life. And when you're doing that, you really want to hold your brush down on the gold or the silver of your brush so that you, like a pencil, so you have control. And anytime you notice streaks or it's drying up, you just dip your brush back in the water to wake up the watercolors. And now I'm going to, now that I'm kind of in a bigger, wider space here in between my plant life, I'm going to start mixing in that blue. And you can see how nice the colors go together, and it just adds more depth to your painting. So I'm going to continue doing this, and you guys are going to be working on this today, and my next video will be about painting the flowers and your leaves. Enjoy.